And we start? Yeah, yeah, I start. Uh, so hello, I'm Tom. I'm a game developer from Ireland, and I'm working on a game called Drilbert, which is a short puzzle game. I used to work on Factorio and some other open source game engine projects, and you can find me everywhere on the internet as Swaybags.
Yeah. Hi, Tom. I'm Ben. I'm Australian. Worked with Tom on a bunch of jams as well as at Factorio. Done a bunch of stuff with education and video games, mixing them together in different ways. And today I'm playing the role of the interviewer and asking Tom questions that I already know the answer to. The first question is, what even is Drilbert?
Drilbert is a short puzzle game where you dig through dirt. You're a little drill man, and yeah, it's a puzzle. The puzzles are all about like digging through stuff and collecting gold. The point is to be like a sort of a short puzzle game that doesn't overstay its welcome. And yeah, this first bit is all just about like teaching the player movement and how, yeah, just the sort of basic interactions of the game.
So start out easy.
Yep, it's not really not puzzling yet. Yeah.
You can see
Sorry?
You can see the player here trying to learn how the movement works.
Yep. So this part's teaching you that you need to collect the coins before you go to the flag.
He's checking how many levels he has to get through.
Yep. So this bit here is when you first start to dig, and yeah, you can see by the pause there that there's some surprise. People tend to get surprised the first time because it makes a loud noise.
Yes, quite some feedback. It's also interesting to see them reacting in real time, watching the video of another player.
Yeah.
And it's probably worth mentioning that this is a recording of a tester.
Yes, so this is not live gameplay, as this is a puzzle game. Watching the developer play doesn't really work very well, because I obviously know the solution to all the puzzles immediately. So yeah, what we've decided to do is this kind of Q&A format while watching a video of a playtester playing.
And I see it was interesting to see them try to get over first. Clearly not possible.
Yep.
Oh, and here, now he's going to realize, yep,
Yeah,
that
so
he's stuck.
this level is called Regret, because yeah, the default thing that a player will do is immediately screw themselves by going for the first thing and then realizing that they have created a one-way door and they can't go back. So there is a rewind mechanism, as well as undo, as well as just resetting the level.
And there he used the reset, although it's showing him both.
Yeah.
Now we can go through safely.
Yep.
So, yeah, clearly you like puzzle games, but are there any things you don't like about other puzzle games?
Yeah. So, I mean, I really like puzzle games, but I find that I rarely tend to rarely finish them. There's like a sort of a market expectation that the game should be long, and yeah, so there's only really two ways to make a puzzle game longer. That's you can either keep pushing using the same mechanics, making more and more puzzles when they have to get more and more difficult and the individual levels become longer, or you can add more mechanics, and there's only so many mechanics you can add before it becomes kind of incoherent and messy. So yeah,
Plus the development time, I guess.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, so what I wanted to do was basically make a short game with only a few mechanics that sort of pushes them as far as they should go, and no further.
That's with the what you said about not overstaying its welcome.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I think a great example of that. They're both good games, but Portal 1 versus 2. Portal 1 is way shorter and way fewer mechanics, but it's just feels better. It's just a sort of overall tighter experience. And the sequel, they added more mechanics because they had to. Portal 1 had already done everything that needed to be done with the Portal mechanics that were introduced in that game. So yeah, the only way to make a sequel is to add more mechanics, and they did, and the game's great, but it's just not quite as great as the first one,
Yeah, not as
in my
refined.
opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's not an uncommon opinion. Everyone loves to have played it, but actually, if you want a Portal game, you play Portal 1.
Yeah, I mean, co-op in Portal 2 is pretty great as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about extra features, I guess that's always a nice one to have.
Yep.
I do wonder if anyone remade Portal 1 in Portal 2.
Would not surprise with the modding community that those games have.
This was an interesting level, but I think you got it too easily.
Yeah, so there is like you can crush the flag there, but yeah, in this case the tester just kind of got it immediately and didn't fall into any of the traps.
Yeah, same thing here then, maybe?
Yeah, so here he actually did fall into the trap. If you notice, just right at the start there, he dropped some dirt onto the flag on the left. So he will eventually find out that that means he can't finish the level. But yeah, for now he's just kind of carrying on, seeing what happens.
Yeah, I think that's pretty important. Let the player figure it out for themselves, and then don't punish them. Like, you know, they can reset immediately, or kill themselves. That works too.
Is always an option. I believe he tries that strategy a second time.
So here, what's he trying?
Yeah, so... oh, no, actually, yeah, this isn't that part yet. Yeah, there's a little bit with the movement later. But, yeah. So, this level is, it's not teaching anything in particular. It's just sort of... It's like a puzzle, so there's kind of two types of level, like the levels that are really focusing on teaching a specific mechanic, and then the levels that are kind of using them to make a puzzle. This is one of the first levels where it's more of a puzzle, and it alternates. You know, it alternates between teaching and using. So yeah.
I feel like with Portal, that was one thing that the whole game felt like a tutorial.
Yeah. And I mean, they worked quite hard to make it not that way, and I think it worked. I mean, the game is a tutorial to an extent, but like it's okay. It doesn't feel bad. Yeah. So here is the moment of realization.
He's eaten the dirt, and he's like, "There's nothing under here. Now what do I do?"
So now, yeah, he goes up here, and you can see him sort of. Yeah, eventually he goes up and over, but he kind of tries to just cut into it sideways. It's something that in this build wasn't possible. It's actually been changed since, based on... He's definitely not the only person to try to do this. So, yeah, it was just...
So he's trying to jump across and eat that dirt, and then grab on the other side?
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see he does it twice, because he's trying to, like, just test and see what's possible. Yeah, and now he's trying to dig in sideways again, and realizing that he can't. But, yep, you can now, because there was no good reason not to.
That makes sense. Value of player feedback.
Yep.
Also here, I think it's quite obvious that this is a game dev playing, since they're trying to break the game at every step.
Yeah.
Is it actually stuck again? Yeah.
Yeah, so he dug too much of the dirt. He needs to leave a little bit more to get out.
hasn't quite realized yet that he can undo one step at a time.
Yeah. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's one thing that's interesting about watching a whole bunch of different people play the same game, especially one that you made, is that the sort of the different personality traits that people have. Some people want to eat all of the dirt all of the time. Some people want to break as little as possible and leave everything as close to the state they found it in as possible. Yeah, it's interesting. Very different approaches.
Yeah, especially on this level, there's a lot of dirt to eat.
Yeah, well, there's this level sort of, it gives you quite a lot of different possibilities at the start. Was sort of the idea of this was to have like a large space, so the player has the opportunity to influence the level on a really large scale that they haven't had so far. So yeah, you can dig a line out and then pretty much the whole level moves. And yeah, ultimately what they need to do here is to take the two pieces and like split them. So yeah, need to do like an uneven movement.
That was nice. Cutting off a piece and then realizing, oh, now I can't reach.
Yep.
Yeah. Then kind of brings up a question actually. Why did you make it grid based?
It's just easier to reason about. I mean, why play a puzzle game instead of just trying to solve actual problems? It's satisfying to have a kind of an artificial environment where you have perfect information, and like the whole thing is just really like tightly defined with no ambiguity, because there's a satisfaction there in solving a problem like that the real world's just messy. That's not to say that every puzzle game needs to be grid based, but I think it works quite well for this.
Yeah, I mean, another thing that is noticeable is that maybe the player hasn't noticed it yet, but it's turn-based. Right? If you don't move, then nothing happens.
Yeah, and something that people sometimes don't notice immediately, which is a little bit frustrating, because part of me wants to figure out how to teach them that better. But at the end of the day, it's not really a huge problem because people figure it out quickly enough. But yeah, sometimes people think like, they need to dart in under something and then jump back out quickly enough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's just not the case. Basically, you walk under and then the time will pause until you walk back out again.
You see him doing the undo.
Yep.
He's not sure how far back he wants to go. I find it very respectful to the player when they're trying to think. Just that the game is paused. I certainly enjoyed that about the game. That you can stand still for as long as you want, contemplate your next move. And sometimes one little bite of dirt can change everything, so it's definitely worth taking your time.
Yeah. And yeah, also, yeah, undo is very necessary as well, because yeah, it's just I mean, with a game like this, you need to be able to undo, or else it's just super frustrating.
Yeah. I mean, we saw there that he went back a few steps and then realized, no, I actually want to go back to the start, and so reset the whole level.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, it was something that was a bit painful about some earlier playtests that I did, where I didn't. So I mean, in this I have the undo and reset key bindings in the top right corner all the time, because yeah, when I didn't do that, people would forget that they existed, people would forget that undo existed specifically, so they would reset the whole level every time they screwed up. And yeah, watching someone do that for like the 10th time and repeat a large sequence of moves every single time is, yeah, it's painful.
Yeah. It's not our jobs as game devs to cause people pain.
Yep.
Supposed to cause them enjoyment. This is interesting. He's trying to figure out how to get across. Oh.
Yeah, so I mean the trick here really is that you need to before you cut the two pieces apart, you need to produce the right gap instead of like cutting them and then trying to move them. Yeah, you want to have the gap ready and then drop it in. Yep.
So, yeah. What tools did you use?
For a start, I did all the programming and I did the art, but I didn't do the music. Music was done by a lady called Nicole Marie T, and yeah, she's cool. It's good music. I am happy. Yeah, so for the graphics, I used a sprite. It's pixel art drawing tool. It's yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah, you can see him here now. He's starting to like pre-prepare. So that's the right track, but he's digging off a little bit too much.
Yeah, he's gonna drop the whole thing into the pit.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't use a game engine on the programming side. I used Monogame, which is like a rendering and input library in C#. It's based off XNA for people who know that. It's quite simple, and yeah, I don't know, it works.
Yeah. And for the level editing?
Yeah. So
since Monogame is kind of like just code, there's no visual element. How did you do your levels?
Yeah, so I used a tool called Tiled. It's an open source, just simple level editor. Skip ahead here a little bit because he goes to the bathroom, I think. Yeah, it's an open source level editor. It's generic, designed to be something that can be used with anything, and yeah, it's really cool.
Nice. And then, well, for a 2D game, most people would have turned to Unity. So why didn't you?
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Unity to begin with, but I think in more general terms, it's like so. Like I said, I previously worked on Factorio, and one of the things that was obvious there is that you don't necessarily need an engine if you're not going to like get the best out of it. So, like, yeah, that was all done custom. And yeah, I mean, when you have a 2D game, you're not pulling in stuff like fancy reflections, shadow maps, and all of this, and like a full physics engine, and all this stuff that you get out of using a game engine. You're still pulling in a lot of the complexity of using a game engine, even if you don't use all of that stuff. So for a game like this, I don't need it, basically. Yeah, I would pay a lot of the price of using a game engine, and I just wouldn't use most of the features. So for me, it's easier to just not.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Is there a situation where you would consider using an engine?
Yeah, I mean, if I were, for example, if I wanted to make a first-person shooter, I would use Unreal, because, yeah, it would just be kind of dumb not to. Yeah, or anything where I wanted, like if I wanted to do full 3D physics or something like that, I mean, there's no reason for me to start writing that from scratch.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not confident in my ability to write a physics engine from scratch.
Yeah, won't know till we try.
I'm willing to leave that one off the cards pretty much forever.
Fair. Interesting that this level looks so much less complicated.
Yeah, so that maneuver that you see there, and you'll see it again here, where you like climb up a tower of dirt, dig through it, and then go like up and over. Something that you really need to kind of get your head around. It looks, yeah, when you put it in a simple level like this, it's Like, people are just like, what? This is so easy, I don't get it. But yeah, this level, it was originally the first one where you had to use that maneuver, and people would get stuck on it for like 15-20 minutes. So I really had to tutorialize that. That's why the previous 2 levels were there. And some people thought it was weird that there's like a huge difficulty trough spike downwards. But
I mean, I know I had trouble with that cinder block level. The one with the 2 halves being dropped down. This took me a long time to get.
Yeah.
Yep. And then suddenly, you have these very simple levels, but it makes sense. You're trying to teach someone something.
Yeah, so I mean, it worked. So combination of putting those 2 levels beforehand and also changing this. So previously the T-shaped blue block on the right there was the bit falling down was dirt. So it was you had more options basically. This gives you less options to try. So if you kind of don't get it, you're more likely to stumble into a solution faster. And yeah, you can see here it just works.
Yeah, especially those people who and
yeah, I wanted to
checking out
pause here for a moment. Yeah, so there is the levels split like this. So there's what we've been seeing up. There's like 4 segments to the game. What we've seen up until now is the first segment, and then the game splits into 2. And in each of the 2 segments, it introduces a new mechanic, and then at the end, it ties back in together, and you have another segment of levels that uses both mechanics. So
the player has to complete both branches?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they can kind of skip between the 2 when they're at that point. I wanted to try and add in some way for people to say, I don't like this, I'll come back to it later. But the game is quite linear. You couldn't just add in an option to skip levels, because then the player would not learn things that were important in later levels. So yeah, that's this thing of splitting the levels into 2 branches like that came from that, because it gives you an option to like go do something else without breaking the learning flow. And ultimately you have to come back and redo that one, or do that one eventually, but yeah.
If you get burnt out, then you can have a break. Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
I know that's a big reason why I don't tend to get all the way through Zachtronics games, for example, as good as they are. At some point, I'm just burnt out on the mechanic that I'm up to.
Yeah, I also love Zachtronics games, but dirty secret, I've never actually finished one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of content to get through.
Yeah, and I mean, you just play it until you play it until it's not fun anymore. And the bits that are fun are great.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's... Sorry?
I haven't seen many games do that branching, that's all. I only remember Human Resource Machine, I think it's called, has it where at the end of the tutorial levels you can do some optional levels. They're not even in the same flow.
Yeah, so I actually got it from the Lord of the Rings Return of the King PS2 game.
Totally a puzzle game, right?
Yeah, not quite. Yeah, they had like this branching thing where there's like the story of the hobbits, the path of the wizard to the path of the king. Then you have to play all 3, and then they join up. And yeah, I don't know. It was cool. Worked well.
You could jump back and forth between them then, I guess.
Yeah, but I think you had to do all of them. To be honest, it's been a while since I played that game. But yeah, I think you had to do all of them, but you could jump back and forth.
Yep.
So yeah, here players learning about. So the point of the bombs was to introduce like a horizontal movement. Because yeah, with digging, you can never really affect things horizontally. All you can do is make them fall. So I kind of thought about how can, you want to add another mechanic. And so the obvious thing in a game where your only power is vertical is to give you horizontal power. Yeah, so that's bombs, and yeah, Bomberman bombs. I don't know. I like Bomberman bombs. They look cool.
They do. Makes a lot of sense. Oh, he didn't die the first time. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying again.
Yeah, you can see this. Yeah, what happens if the platform I'm standing on gets pushed out from under me?
Yeah, surprised he didn't try another. What happens if I get squashed by it? But maybe he'll try here.
Yep. So this is something that when I originally came up with the idea of putting in a bomb mechanic was not something I thought about, but yeah, it's actually super satisfying. You can ride the platforms when they get pushed sideways.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah, he got that one. Got that one pretty fast.
Yep. Yeah, it's nice mechanic. It's also nice to see that sometimes the player has learned and they can just get on with it.
Yeah. So here what I'm trying to teach is that the player can that the player can push the dirt sideways without mashing it.
Yeah, it might get crushed.
Yeah, if he kind of drops a bomb into that gap there on the left, it'll push the whole assembly underneath over. And yeah, because there's a little lip at the bottom there on the bedrock, the blue stone will be caught before it crushes the dirt.
I have to say I'm a big fan of the legs on the character.
Yeah.
It's gonna go down again. Yeah. It's hanging out. Oh, maybe. Oh yeah. Okay. Unexpected.
Yep.
It's a good thing though. You can just try and see.
Yeah. I mean, that's yeah, one of the things about having an undo is that it makes people not afraid to try things.
Absolutely. Don't want the player to feel punished for trying things.
Yep.
And then the only option is to make the game incredibly easy. Or simple, maybe.
Yeah.
It's a bit of description.
Yeah, so then, yeah, I like that actually, that when you place a bomb and there's no ground underneath you, it kind of drops down. It's a bit like you pooped out a bomb.
As long as you get out of the way before you detonate it.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a tricky level, but feels good.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite levels. Yeah, just it's fun. Yeah, so not sure if I should. Sorry?
I was just gonna say, where did the idea for the character come from?
Yeah. So
I already talked about its legs, but like the rest of it?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's maybe a little bit hard to tell with the pixel art style. I don't know. Hopefully people get it. Is that he's a drill. Like his head is a drill. It's not a hat. It's a drill. Yeah. And yeah. So originally, I actually made the first version of this game for a game jam called Ludum Dare. If you don't know, a game jam is like a kind of collaborative session where people get together and make a game over a weekend. Yeah, and Ludum Dare is a big online game jam event. Gets sort of thousands of people across the world participating. Yeah, and this game was originally... Yeah, so there was a game called Drilbert, which actually had a different mechanic. And then I made a sequel to it, which was this game, or which became this game. But yeah...
When you say that there was a game called Drilbert, it was another one of the games you'd made.
Yeah. So yeah, when I was designing that game, which had a different style of movement, where the direction that you were facing was very important, And when I was prototyping, I did what I normally do, and all of the assets were just like blobs of solid color. But because I needed to know which direction the player was facing, the player character was originally just a red triangle. And yeah, when it became a red triangle destroying blocks, just kind of looked like a drill digging things. That is
so
how
Drilbert was born.
Yep, that is how he became a drill boy.
Oh, he's got the double stack now.
Yeah, you can see sort of starting to realize that you can push him sideways. So mild spoilers, but this sort of stairs arrangement that he's doing there is that is the way. But
Do it more.
yeah, well, more and left to right, not right to left.
Yeah. Are all these levels in the demo that's going to be available?
No. So up until when we got the bombs, and the first bomb level is in the demo. But what he's playing right now is will be in the full version.
Okay.
So yeah, these levels aren't quite as polished as the ones that are in the demo.
Yeah, they're still lots of fun.
I hope so.
He's really trying. He's really trying.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you can see that you can see that they stack, but it's then they fall down the hole.
Yeah, yeah.
Gives you just enough time to see that it's working, but not quite.
Yeah, I hope so. The getting the animations working was interesting, because the simulation actually is like stepped. So the renderer only gets to see the thing is here and the thing is here, and then it kind of creates an interpolation between the two. So if you open the video in an editor and slow it down, you'll see that sometimes the movements don't really make sense because it's just a straight interpolation, and you know, every movement takes the same amount of time. Yeah,
Huh?
so two things move different distances in one tick, and they will take the same amount of time. So your speed depends on how far you're going, but hey, I hope it's fast enough that you kind of can't really tell.
Still, it's an explosion, right?
Yeah.
That actually brings up another point that you coded this so that every frame it saves the whole state so that you can rewind. Right?
Yes. Yep. It sounds problematic, but if you look at this level, it's like 16 by 32. It's just not a lot of data. Modern computer, you can have many millions of copies of this entire level in memory at the same time, and it's yep, it's not a problem. So unlimited undo.
Yeah, so that means you're saving a state, an entire world state for every step.
Yep. Well, saving is maybe slightly too strong a word. It's not like I'm not saving it to disk or anything, but yeah, I'm keeping a copy in memory so that you can go back to it.
Yeah. So as long as someone doesn't play a single level for tens of thousands of...
Yeah, I mean, if you were to open a level and then just go left and right for sort of a year, then yeah, you might run out of memory. But yeah, just don't do that.
Yeah, an interesting point about optimization is don't do it if you don't need it.
Yep.
In this case.
Yeah, and in order to, yeah, it resets whenever you like reset the level, or when you finish a level, it resets the cache. So it doesn't, like, if you just play the game, it will be fine. You would really have to try to break it.
I'm sure someone will try.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a video game. It doesn't need to be completely resilient to. Well, it certainly doesn't need to resist an intentional attack. So yeah, I think you can see the gears turning here.
You can see that it's the way he wants it to be, but not quite.
Yeah.
Interesting then. Are we going to show you the solution to this one? Maybe we should skip it and let people figure it out for themselves.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's okay.
Okay.
I would say, like, yeah, I mean, it is a puzzle game. If someone is watching here and is convinced that they want to play this game, yeah, you should probably stop watching and go wishlist on Steam.
Yeah, well,
or play the demo.
now, right?
Yeah,
you can
play.
There, so.
You can play the demo right now. But yeah, I mean, watch anyone playing a puzzle game and you'll get spoilers. That's unfortunately how it is.
Probably should have done a spoiler disclaimer at the start of the stream, but you know, whatever. I guess people understand that.
Yeah, and I suppose people will be tuning in at random times, so.
Yeah. Oh, is he gonna? Yeah. I was expecting him to reset completely, but I think he's quite figured out how to reverse the state of the towers.
Yep. So we could skip ahead a little bit here. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
Okay.
If you want to show the solution, then
yeah, I think it's
took me quite a while.
Let people see it. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I'll go back here. You see, yeah. So in a second, he shoots a bomb which pushes him over. Yeah, and you can see that there's a trap block of dirt, and that's the missing piece of information, is that you can push the dirt along with them. And yeah, that allows you to build the staircase that doesn't collapse as soon as it gets over to the right.
It's got to go all the way to the top, so.
Yep.
I remember getting it right once, but I forgot about the bottom block, and they all just fell down the hole immediately.
Yeah. That's you need to do it one up from the one up from the ground, so that you have that blue piece acting as a stop.
You can see rapid iteration in process.
Yeah, this is the thing with the movement is because it's not sort of pausing at each step. So if you wanna see what's happening over and over again, you need to undo and redo.
Unless he's trying to figure out how the animation system works. No, it looks like he's definitely in on solving the puzzle.
Yep. So yeah, I think he's got it now. He's gonna. Yeah, this is the beginnings of the correct arrangement.
Will he get a Drilbert plushie for winning this level?
Yeah, I don't know about that. maybe after my first 10 million sales, I'll make some plushies.
That'd be a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is it.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. No,
very satisfying when it comes together.
Yeah, it's a satisfying moment when you do the whole thing.
Slide down, grab the coins, and see you later. So now he continues on the bomb levels.
Yep. So, the purpose of this level is to teach you that well, so I mean, you see with the sort of the Bomberman fire effect that the bombs, they shoot in every direction, right? So you've used them sideways, you've used them up, and this one is teaching you that actually they go down as well. Might not seem significant, but yeah, there are ways you can use that. So here, yeah, you'll see him do it now. His solution is to push that one down. So then you make an entrance, or you make an exit actually from this room.
and the bridge at the same time. Otherwise, yeah,
Yep.
you could have just done that, but then you'd be trapped in the room and not have the bridge.
Yep. Yeah.
When are you going to release the game?
Sometime in 2023. Not before the end of nextfest. Yeah. So it's relatively close to done, I would say. It's, in terms of content, roughly 3/4 done. And there's, still needs some polish and love on the art and various misc polish things. But yeah, 2023 at some point. So, what's going on in this level? This is the first level where you get more than one bomb. And what I'm trying to teach here is to chain the bombs together. Yeah.
That's the dialogue and diagonal movement there.
Yeah, that's...
We're talking about with the interpolation.
Yeah, yeah. So the thing is moving sideways there because the bomb is like it's shooting out in a cross. So it's shooting up, and because the block is a right angle shape, it's hitting both the top and the side, so it moves in, moves in 45 degrees basically. It's something that just kind of falls out of the mechanics, but it's not very easy to reason about. So I didn't use it in any puzzles. Probably not something that I'm gonna use in any puzzles. I think there'll always be things like this where there's some corner of the mechanics that is sort of unexpected, and it's just you notice it, but it's not something that you want to take advantage of. Yeah, it's the sort of thing that I wouldn't even use in a challenge level or something like that. Maybe if because at some point I will add workshop support at some time before launch. So it's maybe something I would use.
Levels.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe something I would use in an example workshop level or something, but not in anything that's sort of part of the mainline experience, because the whole point of the game is supposed to be kind of relaxed puzzle experience where none of the levels are supposed to take a ridiculously long amount of time. That's kind of part of the core philosophy, is the level
chunks.
Yeah, exactly, and that the satisfaction of successfully completing a puzzle is doled out in intervals, and yeah, you don't want those intervals to get too far apart, or else the dopamine spike is not enough.
Yeah, if the puzzles get too long, then the space between the dopamine is too long.
Exactly. And yeah, that's a sort of mechanic that I think is just gonna it's just gonna take too long for people to figure out, and it's not quite smooth enough.
Yeah, I mean, you've got that with the grid, and kind of turn-based aspect of this is it's very exact. If you do something, it will be the same every time. You can start to anticipate. It was interesting there that the blue block pushed the coin off.
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. So everything gets pushed except for the bedrock tiles. If there was something hard on the other side of the coins, it would have been crushed. But since there's space for it to fall, it just it falls. Of course, if it got hit directly by fire, it would be eviscerated.
Actually interested now to see if this level, if you can stack two bombs right next to him on top of each other. I don't think it would work, but still, watching is always interesting, just to see I hope he tries this, because actually I want to know if that would work too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is something that comes up, actually, is players will do unexpected things and find solutions to your puzzles. that you didn't anticipate?
That's always nice. As long as they're not too easy or they don't interfere.
It's normally nice. I would say my default attitude. Yeah. So here now, something to notice is that he's about to try to finish the game or finish the level. Sorry, but yeah, when he sent the left block, when he sent that diagonally and it fell down, it actually crushed one of the coins.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could see in the HUD he had only 3 out of 4 coins.
Yeah. There's no feedback for that at the moment, right?
No, I think there probably should be. Like maybe if you just destroy a coin, maybe the HUD should flash, or maybe only when you get to the flag or something. I'm not sure about that, but yeah, I mean there should be some feedback. But on the other hand, he figured it out, so it's not too bad,
I
right?
mean, it was 10 seconds, yeah. Yeah, now he's just repeating it so that you can see what the problem was.
Yep.
Yeah, when you can rewind, it's not that bad. You can always just experiment and check.
Yeah. But yeah, what I was saying about unintended solutions. Normally it's cool. I like that. It's really interesting. But sometimes it can be a little frustrating when it breaks the flow of like what you were trying to teach. So in that previous level, the one before this, the point was to place 2 bombs and then detonate them both together. And he didn't do that because you actually didn't have to. Yeah, here I'm teaching the player that they can do that, they can climb on the bomb. So yeah, that level was kind of teaching you in isolation that you can climb on the bomb. This is using it in a puzzle.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, it's like puts it here and then climbs up, but actually he only did that because that's how he did it in the last level. But actually,
yeah, actually, there's a little bit more in play. So what's going on here is that it's teaching you that you can ride like the horizontal riding a block that we did before, you can go vertical as well. So yeah, you can see there, because the player can like stick to walls, they can climb up walls so long as there's no overhang. If you get pushed up, you can grab on. And then, yeah, you get the second one. So you get to be an elevator and then a car.
Elevator and a car.
So yeah, this is the second level where you're chaining multiple bombs. And again, actually, you can complete this without doing the chaining. So it's a little bit unsatisfying for me, but at the end of the day, there is a final level where you're really forced to chain the bombs, and it doesn't seem like when push comes to shove, people actually have trouble doing that. So I don't feel the need to fix this problem perfectly, because it works basically.
Yeah, I think if the player gets up there, then it still feels pretty good.
Yep.
I'm interested to see now what his solution is. It's different from the one I know to be correct.
Yeah.
The one I know works. I mean, what's correct really when there's multiple solutions, as long as you get to the flag.
So yeah, what you're intended to do here is to put a bomb on the left, where he's put one just now. Actually, basically what he's done there, except with the bombs in the other order. So the bomb gets the block gets pushed to the right, then up, and then you put a third bomb up where the coins are, and that pushes the block over to the left. So then you have it gets stuck on that platform on the left, and you have a kind of a ladder to climb up to the flag. But he does something different, and what's interesting is that his solution would work actually with one less bomb than we provided on the level. So if it's a good opportunity for adding an achievement, actually. It's just finish.
Have one bomb left over at the end of the level. Yeah.
Yep. Only trouble there is that it might end up that the intended solution is harder to find for most people than the secret one.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you don't really want to be handing out achievements. Then you need a second achievement for actually finishing it with 3 bombs, which is kind of hard to check for.
Yeah, well, yeah. You can always waste something.
You can always blow up an extra bomb. Maybe. There was that one level earlier where there's basically no way you can put it without it killing you. There's only one spot where you can stand. Or there's 2 spots where you can stand. One of them's correct.
Most levels with bombs anyway give you somewhere you can stand.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what people do with making community levels.
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
Can only see.
That's a very interesting way
so
to achieve it.
Yeah, it's like an impermanent one. So he's using it like an elevator, where it was intended in that level that you would the final state would have the the block would be left in place. Basically, you would create a permanent bridge. So yeah, here you get a lot of bombs.
6 bombs, jeez.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of supposed to be this is the final level in the bombs only chain of levels for now anyway. So yeah, it's meant to be like the ultimate big explosion level.
There's as many explosions as possible.
Yep, and this is the level that I mentioned earlier where it's designed around chaining bombs, and it is unavoidable. You just can't beat it if you don't chain your bombs. So yeah, the thing that's going on here is you got 2 sort of seemingly impossible goals. Is you need to get over to the flag. So there's an air gap between you and the flag. And the only thing...
you fall off this little cliff here if you try, because he didn't actually try it.
No, he didn't try because he committed suicide several times in the first available opportunity to learn just how the falling off the edge mechanic works. Yeah, so I mean the only thing you can bridge that gap with is the little blue block at the bottom there, which moving it over there is sort of seemingly impossible because it needs to go up so far through this mess of a thing, basically, that is simply not wide enough for it to go up. And that's why you have 6 bombs. And that's also why the level is called Zigzag, because it needs to move back and forth and up.
Yeah, again, it's like can figure out each step as you go.
Yep.
And then when you set up the chaining, the solution feels very, very rewarding.
Yeah, watching it play out, it's
like dominoes falling down.
It's a good moment for the trailer, actually.
Yeah, there was some thinking dance.
Yeah.
Going back and forth.
That is a noticeable thing. People definitely do that.
So this is one of the 3 main mechanics. What's the other branch got in it?
Well, it's a thing called Mega Drill. I think we won't show it in this stream. I
don't think we'll have time for it, to be honest. I think it's going to take too long to solve this.
Yeah. So it's something that lets you cut to a limited degree the blue platforms. So in the demo, I include, of course, the first sequence series of levels that are just digging. Then there's the two segments, one with bombs, one with this mega drill, as I call it. And I include the first level of the bomb and the first level of the mega drill in the demo, just to sort of, it's a nice thing, give a teaser of what's in the full game. So yeah, if you want to find out how that works, go play the demo.
And of course, wishlist when the full version comes out.
Well, preferably yes. Wishlists make a big difference. They really do matter.
Yep. You gonna get it this time? No, he's Or maybe.
Yeah, so you can see the chain is starting to form.
Mm-hmm. Possibly in his brain as well.
Yep.
So it starts to come together. Although I think he placed the second bomb in the spot. That's okay. He's just gonna restart and try again. Yeah. Actually running out of time. So just to repeat, thanks a lot for showing the game today, Tom.
Thank you for helping me.
Yeah, no problems. You can find Tom everywhere on the internet as @Waybags.
Yep.
You can see it on the screen here. What is everywhere? I mean, Twitter, TikTok.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have a personal TikTok. There's a Drilbert account.
That's a Drilbert account. Yeah, cool. And of course, right here on Steam. Can wish us today. You can play the demo today. We have a Discord server, right? You set up a Discord server.
Yep. There's a Discord server now.
So
yeah, you can find that in
the demo.
Yeah, you can find that in the on the Steam page. There's a link to the Discord server, and yeah, if anyone wants to make maps, that would be interesting. I don't have like any infrastructure set up for that. It's probably not going to come until the full game properly. But if there's anyone dedicated, then would be happy to talk to them, and yeah, can set up something not quite as smooth as the final tool set for people who are willing to brave that to get early access.
Yeah, you actually asked Steam if you could have workshop access with a demo, but it's not possible.
Yeah, it's not a thing. I would have liked to have that, because I think just custom levels are cool, especially for a puzzle game. It's like in a puzzle game like this, you know, it's designed to be short. If you want to add a bit of replayability, custom levels go a long way towards that. But yeah,
it's nice.
Coming soon.
Yeah, get in touch if you're interested in that.
Yep.
Cool. And I think that's all we have time for.
Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, thanks for watching if you have been, and yeah, hope you like the game. See yous.
Ciao.